So
thinking
cool.
about that.
Tried it. That would be pick your district weapon. That could be great.
Will Finnick wear his outfit from Catching Fire?
He could. Maybe you get to pick his outfit. Maybe you even get to pick like, beard, mustache.
Dress your tribute.
Oh, yeah, no, it'd totally be like Rock Band, where you choose your outfit and, like, you buy it with credits. Saying, guys, we are creating a video game right now. Let's not let anyone else grab the rights before we do.
You could even pick to have scars. You could say, like, Tracker, Jack, or Attack. Put one right here. So, what about Ariel? Ariel, we haven't had a chance to hear from you yet. Have you noticed an influx in interest, and are you just kind of feeling more and more that this is going to be an explosion?
Yeah, definitely. I've definitely noticed a lot of people more excited about Hunger Games, but also something funny happened today. I'm making up my schedule for Book Expo America, and I started talking to one of my publishing partners, and I asked her, like, oh, have you heard of Hunger Games? And I was kind of expecting, her to say no. I mean, we're in children's publishing, not young adult publishing. And I got back an email that was like a couple paragraphs long about like, oh, yes, I love it. I saw the casting news, and are you excited, and this and that. And I was like, oh, this is really cool. So now we're going to meet at BEA, but I don't know if we're going to get any work done because we're probably just going to talk about the movie and everything. But, yeah, very cool when my two worlds collide.
No, definitely. A couple comments I'll share from our readers. Rebecca from Portland says, I'm conflicted on whether or not I'd want the Hunger Games you talked about on Extra or Access Hollywood, which is an interesting point because, this is something that Katniss really represents, and this is something we'll get into with Ned Vizzini in his essay, but she's a real-life hero. She's not a cosmetic, dressed-up reality star. So that's something to think about. And then Shyla, who's actually joined the Down with the Capital team as of this week, she had to say, no Hunger Games video game, in all caps. So some people really don't want this getting a little bit too glitzy or glamorous, although I hope no one gets too upset with me, but I'd like to see Hunger Games kind of dominate every single medium and sphere, just so more people would hear about it. But,
sorry. I was saying, Shyla, I mean, I know I read her blog earlier today, and part of her reason for not wanting the video game, though, is because it's the fact that, the violence in the game, I pulled up her blog so I could quote her because she does it better. The creation of any genre of video game based on the Hunger Games would unavoidably enforce the very ideas that the books seek to dispel. Out of the many messages contained within the series, one stands above the rest, that a culture that glorifies the devaluing of a person's humanity for the purpose of political gain or entertainment is dangerous. And that's her, it's the idea of, are we going against what the books say by doing something like that, by doing the video game. So I just wanted to finish, speak for her a little bit there. So.
And honestly, I sort of like the idea of a video game. I mean, I like the Harry Potter. I mean, I haven't played them, but I like that there are Harry Potter games, et cetera. But I mean, let's face it, if there were a Hunger Games video game, it would probably involve you playing as Katniss maybe and killing people in the arena. It would just be super violent, and I think it would be sort of glorifying the violence rather than painting it as what it truly is.
Well,
And
I jumped in for a minute.
Would be killing other kids. It's not like, one person that maybe if they did one based on the last book where she's kind of overthrowing the castle, that's one thing. But to put it in the arena is kind of a little weird to me.
I agree. One thing, when I was reading Mockingjay, I felt like the entire sequence of her sort of navigating through the Capitol to Snow's mansion felt a lot like a video game, like dodging the different pods and going underground and things like that. It read very video game-esque to me. So you're right. I could see that as a video game as well.
Can I
also maybe battling careers. That could also happen. Because those aren't Cato's
but
not
they're
like...
still kids, though, you know, like they're
where they grew up is why they
evil.
are what they are.
Weird evil dog mutations. What about that?
Fight the mutations.
Then again, though, I think the right video game creator could still like highlight. Like, I'm not a huge video game fan, but my boyfriend is, so I feel like if he's listening, I need to stand up for that end of it. Where like I think the right games, and it definitely takes a pedigree of the designers and the writers, could maybe touch more upon the stories of the characters. Or this is going to sound childish, but I wonder if there's a way. I know there's a lot of games where like you get tasks done, but they're puzzles. Like there's this silly online MMO called like Puzzle Pirates, where to sail your ship you do a puzzle, and it might be a bit garish to say like do a puzzle, you shoot someone, but maybe there's a way to distance the violence, or I don't know. I think there's a way to portray it in such a way where it's not right, because it's never right for Katniss, and it's different in the books obviously, because it's literally she will die, and in the game you can respawn or you can turn off the game. So I think it would definitely be tough to translate, but at the same time I think in the right hands, or like you said, maybe going more into Mockingjay and the political intrigue, where there is more of a what you're accomplishing isn't necessarily assassination, but is, I don't know, I just think that world, or even like when I've noticed on the hashtags of the Panama October, when people started choosing their districts, people were coming up with kind of fan fiction profiles and saying, well, I'm Eris, and I'm from District 8, and my favorite food is this. And that could be a different kind of game if you wanted to take it out of the video game shoot-'em-up realm and say, let's do a role-playing game. I could see the Hunger Games world adapting well to that.
Well, I guess I'm going to sound like the evil villain here. But I mean, I don't know. I just don't think we need to be so ultra-sensitive about this. And I respect this viewpoint, believe me. But I just feel like if kids are out there and it's just like you pick a character, you're in the arena, you're trying to survive, and yes, you're like fighting some tribute from District 8, and now you're fighting one from District 4, using whatever tools you can get. Maybe it sends a little bit of a shady message, but at the same time, it's getting the brand of Hunger Games out there so that people will read the book. And, you can't blame Lionsgate if they go ahead with that for something that could be that lucrative, because I think it'd be a pretty awesome game. A lot worse games have been put out there. Let's put it that way.
That's a good
There are much worse games to play.
Nice.
So what if you could be, now I think maybe going too far would be if you were the Capitol and you got to kind of crush the tributes. That might be going a little bit too far.
Yeah.
Because, they do that in some roles. Like I remember when I was in law school, because this is what you should do in law school, I played Star Wars Battlefront for 8 straight hours at one point.
Nice.
And I was the Empire the whole time, fighting the rebels. So I'm just saying there is that element to it where you get to play both sides.
Well, Scholastic on their site has that, like kind of choose your adventure type game where you can click and it gives you a scenario, and then you choose what, gives you 2 options, and then you choose what you would do, and then you find out whether or not you would survive the Hunger Games or not, which is, I find addictive, because I get on there and I have not survived yet. But it's like it's like solitaire. You keep going, hoping eventually you will get you'll pick the right choice. And that one, that was a lot of fun. And they also have one that says, where you play and you try to figure, are you ready, with different aspects, and it tells you what kind of what your choice means in regards to character traits and different things. Are you clever? Are you fly? And then at the end, it'll tell you whether or not you survive, whether or not you're ready for the games. And so those might be an option. They could go along the ways too, because I don't know what you guys. I used to be, when I was a kid, I was always addicted to Choose Your Adventure books. Just always rereading them to figure out. So I don't know. That could be an option they could do as well.
Yeah,
I think I don't know. There are so many different directions that you could go in with this. I think if they come up with something, it will end up being very tasteful.